So there's so many things that we can do outside of our jobs, but so much of our day revolves around our jobs. So what can we do as, like I said, as employees, as founders? And so I made a short list. Like, when you are hiring people, like, you want to have a competitive compensation package, especially if you're valuing them and you want them to grow and stay with you, because it's much more expensive to continuously hire new people and train them, because that first 3 to 6 months is just getting them on board and get them through the cadence. If they leave at month 8 or 9, well, you're starting over and you really only got 3 months out of it. And so making sure that you're showing up for your staff early. Flexible work arrangements. You talked about it earlier, right? If today people want to work from home, if that works in your business model, then figure out how that actually can show up. And then obviously, like, recognition and award system. It's always nice to say thank you, but it's always nice to recognize people. Is there anything else that you guys want to see in your jobs that would make it like a more valuable place to show up? And like, what do you guys, anybody have any examples of things that exist? Yeah.
I know one of the coolest benefits that I personally have experienced is like gym and like mental wellness like programs.
Okay.
Being offered,
I love that.
As like, especially in the day and age after like post-COVID, a lot of us have, we're a little bit more to ourselves and not really out there as much.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely like having mental health like wellness programs or whatnot built in. I think that would be good, especially the gym too. You're at a bit better mindset too when you're like actually physically working out and being active.
And I think it really shows that your work cares about your holistic being, right? It's not just the 8 to 12 hours that they demand you doing something for them, but like, how are you showing up for you, which will make you a better worker for me, so then we can produce a product that will help us scale and grow our company. So I think that's great. And I think we've seen more of that in the last 5 years than we certainly did beforehand, for sure. Yeah.
One benefit that some companies I've seen offer,
It's for the recording.
Is like quarterly or semi-annual retreats for teams of the whole company.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great way, especially with dispersed teams, to build culture and build relationships that they're missing if they don't have centralized headquarters or office. And for a startup, one thing is being flexible with asking what your employees are looking for and what they want. And maybe they do want a gym membership. Maybe they just want to be able to leave early on Fridays,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So I think that's the benefit of being a smaller organization, is you can have bespoke packages, and I think that's a way to offset paying just top dollar for talent.
Along those lines, I was part of an organization once that gave each employee $250 every month to spend on, and there was like a list of things. Like, I couldn't go out drinking, right? But if I wanted to pay for my gym membership, or if I wanted to do a yoga retreat, or if I wanted to do something, right? Like, there was a list of things. And to be honest, some people didn't even take advantage of it, but they loved that they had it. And they were able to do exactly what you just said. It wasn't forced fun. It wasn't forced pizza party. It wasn't forced, this is what we're doing. I got to do it with my own schedule and what worked for my lifestyle. So I think you're right. Like, having flexibility as an organization and showing up for your employees, whatever works. So thank you for that. Anybody else?
Slow to hire, quick to fire mentality.
Slow to hire, quick to fire.
Take your time picking the right people. In an 8-year period, I only terminated 2 people ever. One for lying on their resume and lying with their references, which we figured out within 3 months. The second person who we recruited and did a great job for 3 years and really enjoyed working with, all of a sudden started to melt down and became a cancer with other younger workers. So we had to let her go, which opened the door to be rated, because there were other employees who had subsequently hired and had never seen anybody get fired. They thought this was like your life's job, which opened the door for the competitors in San Diego to chase some of my senior talent. So you have to be very careful with in that period of time, we never lost anybody we didn't mind losing, in the sense of some people just transitioned out, some people relocated, we kept them on as long as we could, some wanted to do something different. But the key is you're going to be all looking for jobs. Take your time, talk to people, find out where people hang out, if you work at a company, and chat with them. Get a sense of, is the company really a place you want to call home? And if you don't feel that way, then don't take the position. Don't just take a job. You're all looking for a career. If you want to just have a job, go join the Army. It's a job. It's not an adventure. Marines are an adventure. But go find, don't just take, like 2 weeks ago, that I'll be working at McDonald's. You're in the middle of America. McDonald's is a place everybody wants to work. So if you're in Vegas, it's not. So find something that's going to take you towards your career and take your time picking who you work for. You do your best business with your friends. Find out where your friends work and if there's openings. Because that way you have a support network from the start of the day you get there versus being the new kid in town and no one's ever heard of.
And LinkedIn, use the tools that are available. It is easy to search that company, see who works there, see what kind of posts they post. Are they post positive things, or do they not really post anything about their job? That doesn't mean it's a bad place, but if I'm excited about stuff, I'm going to celebrate it. I'm going to talk about it. So use the tools at hand for sure.
Absolutely, and I think that's actually more important than a lot of these packages or items. It's having good leaders that you feel supported by as well. And I also think it's networking. Many times when you're networking, you can get ideas, help, and other instances to grow. But also life balance, understanding the working models post-COVID, the psychology that happens. There's a lot of trauma and issues, anxieties that are happening within the new workforce, and the newer generation is coming into play as well, how they operate and how they will really quickly quit. They're not very much focused on careers. They're very quick to quit and change jobs based on what's the priority of their life versus their main ecosystem.
And the last thing I'll say is that I think the generation before us picked a career and stayed in it their whole lives. And I know for me, my first 10 years in the workforce, I had 6 jobs. And people were like, whoa, you cannot commit. That's not true. I was committed to each of those jobs when I was there. But I also wasn't willing to just stay there if they weren't going to grow, if they didn't have a vision, if I outgrew the position and there was no trajectory. So I also think that mentality is totally different. You need to show up for you. You have one life. Show up for the job, and it's all, don't do this quiet quitting shit. Let's not do that. Let's all agree that that's not cool. But I also think that being fully transparent and being communicative with your supervisor, right? If they're not showing up for you and the promises that they made and that doesn't exist, then being honest with that. Don't wait until your review, right? And just be communicative. So next slide, or actually, I don't know if it's next slide. We'll see. Let's gamble. Let's push on it and see what happens. Boom, building tomorrow. Yes, together. So what I want you guys to do is we're going to take a few minutes. I put a paper in front of you. And for those of you at home, you got it emailed to you. Why don't you guys take a few minutes to fill this out? Like I said, we are not going to necessarily share this unless you want to share some of the things on this paper, but it really is for you to kind of take an exercise. I like to do this kind of stuff when it comes to if I have a big event, I like to do a reflection of what went well, what do I like, what do I don't like. If I have a big decision to make, I do this as well. So the first one, I'll just read these out and let you fill them out. But if you didn't feel like you needed to be perfect, what would you do? And by perfect, it can be so many different things. I like to think of this as if I didn't have pressure, because I personally don't think I have to be perfect. I think that's a very toxic way of thinking about it. But I know a lot of people have this innate, I have to be perfect. I have to show up. I have to build this company to the point where it's it's going to be successful. And we talked about it. You're going to make mistakes, and that's totally okay. So perfect and pressure are interchangeable. But if you didn't have pressure, or you didn't feel perfect, what would you do? And this is a private thought exercise. We might share if you guys feel comfortable with it. And then, what am I most proud of? take a minute. What are you most proud of where you are right now? First of all, you showed up and you show up every day for yourself, but what are you so proud of? What have you done that just says, fuck yeah, I did that. And like, nobody can take that away from me. I think it's important to always have a little thought exercise of like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What trajectory are you on right now that in 5 years, you're going to say, yep, I made it because I'm doing that. What do you want to see available in our ecosystem? I think there's always an opportunity to kind of say, I wish my community did X. And then it's important to also say, well, I wish this was here, but how can I contribute? How can I help build that? And then do you have a mission statement? Do you have a personal mission statement? Like, what do you, that's not your job. It's not what you want to do for a living. It's who do you want to be? What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? Is that even important to you? This is what that mission statement is. And then what kind of community initiatives and involvement do you want to have? Is it, being a part of the StartUp Vegas ecosystem? Is there something else that you want to be a part of? Does that all tie in together? For me, I would answer this like, I want to do economic development, education, and entrepreneurship. Like, those are my 3 passions, and I would describe what that looks like. And then last, like, and it says in this room, but just in general, like, who do you want to be connected with that can help you achieve these things? So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let you guys fill that out.
I can get it. I'll need it.
In your life, what would you do? finish that last answer and then. Okay. Okay. So how are we feeling after that exercise? Was it good to do a little self-reflecting? Does anybody want to share one of their like breaking down boundaries? If you didn't feel like you had to be perfect, what would you do? No, sure.
So the three I have is the building the hyperdose company.
Okay.
Be the safest and most reliable host, guide, nurse. Become a retreat organizer. I'm helping organize a retreat right now in Barcelona in the next month.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Anybody else? It's fine. Which one of these questions was the toughest to answer for folks in here? I'm not asking for the answers. Number one? Okay. Number one? Number four? Number one. Okay, number one, yeah. It's a number two. What are you most proud of?
Yeah, because we sometimes don't recognize our own efforts. So.
Totally. So she's saying that most time we don't recognize our own efforts, and I'll even take it a step further. I think a lot of times we don't pause and celebrate our own victories. So, well, thank you so much for coming today. I want you to take that worksheet home with you, finish it, look at it. I like to keep that kind of stuff in my office. So if like I'm distracted or whatever I'm feeling, I like to look in and just say like, I wrote this when I was in a different headspace. Where am I feeling today? And then can I just get the next slide? I just want to tell you guys about next month's link up. Last Wednesday of the month, so it'll be the 31st. And we're going to have Sammy come. And she's awesome. She's so much energy, and she's just a wealth of knowledge. So we're really lucky to have her. But thanks so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys get some food, and then obviously stay for the rest of the day. We have WeWork open for co-working. So I hope you guys have a great day.